I like that general pace, and there was like a checklist. So I think all the bones are there. It's just, I would love to see a little bit more personalization.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Behind the Experience, where we gave you an inside look behind the top product-led experiences. Today is going to be a special episode. Me and Lyla are doing this new series where we take a look at different types of experiences and give our opinions and our thoughts on how great it is and how it can be improved. Lyla, how's it going? How are you today?
Hey, Ramli. I'm doing good. We're recording this on a Friday, so we've got some extra special spicy vibes today. The Friday energy coming through. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of try this new format with you and explore some stuff and really geek out, because that's what we're really good at.
For sure. I mean, for people who are new to the show, we've both been working in onboarding for several years now. You did it for AppQs, where you're designing the onboarding experience for AppQs, and now you're designing features for AppQs as well as myself. So we're experienced. I just wanted to say that. Like we have a lot of thoughts to share. So super excited about this for sure.
So should we get right into it, Ramli? We've got a couple exciting things we wanted to do today. We wanted to compare mobile onboarding, or maybe not compare, examine, I guess. Well, we'll do some comparison alongside the examining and reviewing. A mobile and a web onboarding experience. And we're going to start with a mobile one. I have just downloaded ClickUp. ClickUp. How familiar are you with ClickUp, Ramli?
I've used it once a few years ago. It's like a project management / Trello / Monday.com / like it can do a bunch of things with it. That's all I know. How about you? Have you used it before, or is this like your first time taking it for a spin?
This is my first time. I'm going in fully ClickUp blind. I am also aware of what it does, or at least I've heard that it's like an Asana, a Monday, something like that. It's been really interesting for me personally to watch the success of ClickUp because of how, and just like the way that the B2B industry is changing, because of the fact that like ClickUp is a bunch of different tools all in one place, and they're trying to put everything you can possibly do in one spot. It seems like a few years ago, the way to do it was to have really awesome point solutions and connect them all. So I'm really interested to see kind of how ClickUp onboards folks and gets folks interested into a bunch of different products. When you have cross products, you have a lot of products in your suite, there's a lot of adoption that you need to do. So I'm curious how this onboarding ends up panning out.
That's true. And with mobile, there's less real estate, so you got to be succinct to the point. So we'll see. Actually, smart. We're starting off with mobile because that's what I've heard. Mobile first design. Did they actually come mobile? I know they came out with the web first, but it'll be interesting to check this out for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I started it up. I downloaded. The cool thing was that before I even downloaded, it let me use my iCloud account to create the account. It just said account email, and it had my iCloud identity right in the download screen. I haven't seen that before in apps. I'm not sure if that's new, but it was really great. So we'll see if I have to create an account again. I don't know, but it seemed like it created it for me in the download process.
Nice.
I like this one place for all your work. However, I have seen that kind of messaging a lot. So I'm immediately a little bit sus, if I can use the parlance. I'm not using it correctly, but I'm going to use it anyway.
Right.
I'm just a little bit unsure. I'll have to be convinced a lot. But I like how they have they're leading with the features in the next line of copy: tasks, docs, goals, and chat, customizable to work for everyone. We talk a lot about benefits versus features, and I think that's sort of luckily getting tamped down a little bit, and we're actually talking about the features here rather than just saying one place for all your work.
That's true.
Assign projects, quickly create docs. Like, they left all of that out. They just capitalized it so that it's a feature.
That's a good point. and then you have this image of a person going to a mobile with some checklist. What is that? So I feel like that's very. I'm not sure if that's a good use of that space to use that illustration that looks like it's generic. What are your thoughts on that image? Does it add and communicate the value better, or like does it even take away because it takes up almost half of the screen?
That's such a good point. I didn't even really think about that. I'm such a copy nerd that I went straight to the copy, but I agree the image doesn't do a ton for me. I would love if it was like moving or a GIF or cycling through maybe all of the different features that they have. Like that's the benefit that they're trying to share here is that ClickUp is one place for all your work. So to your point, I'm not really sure what seeing a house and a checklist helps me understand that. Maybe it's like multiple tools or carouseling through multiple tools to really like reinforce that this is the one place for all of those tools.
That makes sense. Super cool. Makes sense.
All right. Shall I swipe to the next? Looks like we got 3 dots here, so we can look at 3 things and then do a get started.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay. I like this. I like the idea here. This is so it says there's a picture of a person staring at like some bubbles, chat bubbles, basically on a phone. And it says, save 1 day every week, guaranteed. Save 1 day every week by putting work in one place. I like the ROI. It's a little bit
sus.
or I like the time savings message, but it's just a little bit muddied here for me. Just a little bit weak.
True, right? 1 day a week. That's a bold claim to make. I understand what they're trying to do. But like 1 day a week. Like you're going to give me a 4-day work week essentially with ClickUp. Which is like, wow. That would be super nice. Is that what it's trying to say here? Like it will save 52 days in a year. It is. It is to use your previous
guaranteed.
Words. Yeah, guaranteed. Wow, that's even like stronger. So my like red flag sus, to put your words into action, my sus flag up in the air. It's just like I see. You're right. I understand they're trying to build the ROI here, but is it too bold of a claim to make at this point?
Yeah, I feel like it sort of weakens, when the fellows over at some more Canadian friends, Dan Bononi at growth.design, they do those awesome comics kind of reviewing apps. They have what they call the hype level. And I feel like this kind of killed my hype level a little bit. It kind of stopped me in my tracks because I have a lot of questions. And again, the image doesn't do a ton for me either because it's not really related to saving. It's just more of like you can use chat.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Personalize the way you work. Customize ClickUp to work for you. No opinions, just options. Huh? Is it clear what this is trying to say?
Yeah, I'm not sure I get this one. I think this is one of those situations where cleverness is working against you a little bit. Like I really like the phrase no opinion, just options, but I don't like it in onboarding because it's not clear. You kind of have to like read it a couple times to get it. So I think it would be better maybe like on marketing copy on a website or something. Rather than, because when I'm swiping here, I want to figure out how I'm going to get started using ClickUp. I don't necessarily need to be resold on the premise of it. All right. I'm going to hit get started. I'm going to do it. Okay. So, it's fine. It didn't create an account for me. So that's interesting. I thought it did when it was looking at my account, but that just might be a UI update. So I'll do this. No, okay.
We've sent an email. Go to your email to open the link.
Open email. My goodness. All right. We're going to do it.
While you're doing this, what are your thoughts about this? I understand this is a sticky point for a lot of people where they try to figure out if this email 2-step verification gets rid of a lot of spam and people who are not serious about it. At the same time, it adds a lot of friction for people who just want to get in, especially on your phone. Do you have any opinions on this? Strong opinions?
Do I have any opinions? Ramli, you know I've got opinions. It really, I mean, I do, but obviously this is such an it depends thing. This is like one of those classic it depends. Like it depends on the type of product you have and what your users can do once they get into that product as well. So for example, when I worked on hiring software, we had to make sure that the folks who were signing up were quality reviewed and were allowed to actually publish jobs, because our software allowed people to create job listings. And if they were like fake or spam, that's potentially harmful. So there are cases where you're needing to verify the user and like make sure you know who they are and you're able to contact them again is super important, and either could be like a security thing or compliance. There's a lot of reasons, or even just for like the quality of your product. Like if you have something that people can create external facing things, but there's also ways that you can, there's like a lot of apps will also, like for ClickUp, I don't see why this is necessarily required for me to even start using it. Like if I don't know, there could be, and I just don't know. My preference in these scenarios is to say, hey, we've sent you a link to verify your email, and certain actions are grayed out to you until that email is verified, but you can still generally use the product.
That's totally true. I think you make a good point. Like even an email marketing platform, like you definitely want to verify that email address, just because you don't want bad actors or actresses or people using that email platform to send spam messages to people who don't want email, because then your reputation as a company would be definitely harmed by that. So verifying email is important. But to your point, ClickUp is like, I'm trying to understand why, and they didn't particularly make it clear there why they're verifying the email. For me, it just, if it's not clear why, it just makes me more annoyed, in this situation particularly.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like setting it up in any way. Like, hey, we need to verify your email so that you can XYZ, or so that we can contact you, if, whatever it is. There wasn't any kind of like priming in any way. Right. I'm going to hit sign up.
Makes sense. Let's do it. Sign up.
Okay, here we go.
They should have called it ClickUp there, right? That's a missed opportunity. Like, ClickUp. Why did they call it sign up?
I like that.
ClickUp.
That could have even been their get started button. Like ClickUp.
Right, exactly.
Get started button.
ClickUp now. Like all right. Create workspace. All right. Give a name of your workspace. That's where all the work happens. You're putting down Ramli.
I named it Ramli and Lyla's Cool Workspace. Okay, see, this is an example of priming, but this is way early.
Exactly. Too early.
We don't even know.
Exactly.
Yeah. No idea what we're even giving permissions to be notified about.
That's totally true.
I'm going to skip.
100%. I think this is one of those points where showing value before asking for it is super important. So I have a hunch that like majority of the users skip this.
Absolutely. It's way too early, unless they were already using ClickUp on their desktop and like were familiar with it. For brand new users, I definitely wouldn't would assume that it would be. But that might be who they're targeting right now, and they're like, yeah, we're okay with that, which is totally fine.
That makes sense.
I like this.
That's it.
I don't
change the world.
I like the idea of this screen.
Don't forget to have fun.
That's it. Now go and change the world.
Just don't forget to have fun.
Then raising hands emoji, and then play with ClickUp.
That's it. Now go change the world. Yeah, I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind the screen. I understand the play with ClickUp. Like they said, play with ClickUp. They're like, oh, you're gonna have fun. Any thoughts on like if you
Yeah.
were putting yourself in their like product marketing shoes or content team shoes or even the PM shoes? Maybe they're trying to describe the mission here. What are your thoughts on what the purpose of this screen is?
I like that you're thinking it's about the mission. That's kind of like if that could be a good use for this screen. I like to your point, I'm not quite sure. This kind of feels like they had to have a screen here, and so they did they put this in. It
Right.
kind of feels like that. So we've got a long list of basically it's kind of stopped. I know that one of the things we talked about before when we first were talking about this features or this tool is we know it does a lot of things and it's like a all-in-one for project management. Um and they have put me into one feature. They put me into the list feature, it looks like a to-do list. And then I've got steps at the top and it says step 1 out of 13, which is just like a very high number of onboarding steps in my opinion.
Totally true. Yeah, they made some assumptions here that you have update contractor agreement planned for next year. I think it's
Yeah.
a lot of missed opportunity to try to understand. Maybe a lot of majority of their mobile users are suppliers or contractors, and that's why they made this assumption up front. And most of their other types of users sign up on the web, but it is interesting that this is what they ended up with planned for next year, which is it's February, and I'm so now apprehensive because we just started 2023 and it's already busy, and you're telling me to plan for next year, which it's not even on my mind. Now I'm like, oh, no thanks. My mind is like,
Yeah.
no, which is not something you want to do in your onboarding to get users to say no, which we've been saying no a lot so far here.
Yeah, that's so true. It hurts to say no, a little bit, but it's true. We've been exiting out, we've been dismissing. So if I was doing this fast, it would feel like
That's
I'm
true.
going through a lot of pop-ups. And I'm actually trying to click on the steps here or tap them and nothing's happening. It does seem to me like you should be able to tap this purple or blue area at the top where it says step 1 out of 13, but I can't.
Mm, interesting.
So I just hit the plus to that was in the bottom right, and it looks like that created a task for me.
And now there's a hotspot. It says change task status over
Yeah.
review.
So now,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a strange one. So I kind of don't, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of lost as to what screen I'm in. I guess I'm in a task now.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. And then there's, yeah, why is it making me change the status? I'm not sure.
Okay. It really wants us to complete. So we got another tooltip and with a hotspot kind of showing us that we need to complete the task. Go back to list view. I have a hunch
Yeah.
that they know that people like completing tasks.
Interesting.
So
I
they've
like that.
put this at the front. But so I feel like the intention is very good, but the execution doesn't quite get me where I want. All right. So, okay. So what we've done now is they've had me do a nice little loop, a habit loop. They've got me into adding a task, changing the status, and then coming back, and now they've had me adding a new one. That's actually kind of genius.
True.
I do like the idea of like having someone start out, do something small, and then come back and do it again. I wish that they would have broken up the steps at the top, so it was like step one of 3, change like complete a task or change a status, and then after I did that, it was like step 1 of 3, and we go into the next thing.
True. Yeah, that totally makes sense. It would have been nice also to check off a task that we know we've completed, like, sign up for ClickUp or set up your account.
Right.
Instead of update contractor agreement, which we both did not update an agreement. Like, why would it doesn't feel as satisfying if it's actually something that I've I've already done, like, did something.
Yeah, 100%. And the fact that it was like a random person's picture in there
Oh,
as
I didn't even
well
see
was a
that.
bit,
That's true.
yeah, it was a bit confusing. So I like the idea of dummy data, but got to make sure that that dummy data is not just like demo data, essentially. And now we're on this like create a new task screen, and they have this fun little thing that someone's built where it's automatically populating an example of a task name. And this example they're giving is like update company website. That's like the biggest task name ever. But so I'm gonna try and add. Okay, so I tapped and I tapped where it said to tap, and it just auto completed whatever it was
Cool.
sutgesting in
Update company
before.
website.
Which is fine, but it's not what I expected, so it kind of freaked me out.
Same. Right.
And then we have a create new task hotspot hovering over the create. So they don't want us to update this. They just want us to put into the list so that we can see it show up in our to-dos. Wow, okay. Now we have to change the task view. This is very list oriented.
That's true.
Assuming that must be what folks use for it. Oh, wow. Okay. So now it's swiping for me, which is kind of a cool pattern for this onboarding. It's like a tooltip that's showing me where to swipe with dots that are kind of pulsing. And then also the menu at the bottom has like 3 dots to show that there is screens that they're moving through. This is kind of cool.
Super cool.
It's a little overwhelming just of how quick everything is going. But I like the idea of this. I want to use it somehow. All right, I will swipe right. I'm trying.
Oh, it's not letting you. Interesting.
No, it did not let me. It was just a demo. So that's a little bit confusing about this. This is like, now that I see finished demo, that makes sense to me. It didn't feel like a demo though. It felt like this I was setting up ClickUp.
Interesting.
Yeah. This was like a bit of like a demo couched in onboarding, which is, I would say, pick one or the other.
Totally true.
Okay. I wanted to hit finish demo, but I need to hit exit.
Okay.
Oh, and that looks nothing like the view I just did. Oh, okay. Here we go. No, this is what they should have signed up, done to sign up.
Yeah. Welcome to ClickUp.
Yeah.
Sign up with ClickUp.
Here we go.
Checked off. Right. Learn about ClickUp. In progress. This would, to me, makes more sense. You're right. Than the previous screen.
Yeah. I would have preferred to do my demo, like little walkthrough that they just did, and call it a tour, not a demo, and have this instead. I think that was a nicely well built, well engineered experience, but yeah, it didn't quite land for me.
Same. Yeah.
What should we do next, Ramli? Should I click into one of these tasks?
Let's see what happens if it actually does something interesting. Learn new list.
This one looks like it has a video. That's kind of interesting.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. Wistia.
It looks like it's meant to be embedded in here, which would have been a better experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I can watch it like this? No. Okay, that makes me watch the thing.
When you click on that Wistia link, does it play it? In the description? Oh, so it...
Oh, yeah. We'll have this little video play. Oh, but it's the web version.
Yeah. Oh, no. So they showed you... So they're showing you a video of a web version when you're in mobile, which... It's not a... There's no connection there. So that's really a tough one.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. So maybe they're using the same thing for both things. Oh no, because we have login on your computer.
Oh, so this for interesting. So it is more for the web version.
Yeah.
Interesting.
About views. Views are the secret sauce. Okay. I mean, this is a nice format. Let's see what the other views do if they give us any tutorials. Well, that's okay. A calendar does, and I think it's fairly obvious what a calendar does. ClickUp Docs Guide. Okay. And that just looks like another way to show me how to, like another kind of show and tell situation.
True.
Okay. I don't love that it's just like nothing in chat because it feels like chat could be a huge plus for this. Like, not only because all the other competitors I'm thinking about with ClickUp, like, I'm like, okay, I've used Asana for something like this. I saw something that looked a lot like Notion to me, but those don't have chat, like Asana and not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And Notion don't have chat. So, like, oh, I could have Slack, Notion, and Asana in one spot. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Curious why there wasn't any profiling done at the beginning of onboarding. Like,
true. Like, who are you? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah. I would have liked to see that, and then maybe that would have helped me, like, maybe get to chat faster or something.
Good point.
Okay.
What would you rate this? I don't know what a rating system is. We can do tacos. Or what is the very
tooltips?
How many tooltips or how many tooltips is this worth out of 5? Is it a 5 tooltips?
Out of 5 is good. It's good, nice and restrictive. I think it's really tough. I hate rating things because it's hard. It's hard emotionally.
You don't want to be mean.
I don't want to be mean.
You don't want to be Simon Cowell.
But I do really like. So I will rate this a 3.5, and I'll break down. Yeah, what I like about it. Technically, really beautiful. Worked really well. Very seamless. It looks like it was home built from what I can tell. So there was some interesting patterns and stuff, and it felt very, very customized within ClickUp. So I liked that part of it. And I liked the flow. I really liked how, I got some tours, I got a welcome screen, I had that little kind of like what they called a demo. I like that general pace, and there was like a checklist. So I think all the bones are there. It's just, I would love to see a little bit more personalization. That tour maybe be more of a tour and less of a demo, or if you're going to have it a demo, call out that it's a demo and say, do you want to take this demo, or something like that. So that's why I would kind of bump it down a little bit, because this feels like a tool. This feels like an onboarding experience for someone who's already familiar with ClickUp.
Yeah, totally. I think that's part of the reason why I would probably give it like a 2 tooltips.
Ooh, 2 tooltips.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. It's beautiful. Just a lot of functionality here that it's obvious that it was definitely not thought of as mobile first. That it was desktop, and how do I slap that onto a mobile experience? They ask for permission to get you to notify to your notifications and your Siri right up front. And you're right around the personalization. Like, there was a missed opportunity to ask who they are, and they just jumped into assuming that we're contractors, which might be their main audience. So I'm not entirely sure that it is working for contractors really well, and they totally get it. So that's just my thoughts around this experience for itself.
Yeah, would love to see. I think we're gonna do a reverso on next time and see what the web is like. So maybe we'll get a lot more context, and we'll be like, oh, if we would have done web first, maybe our scores would have been higher on this. I don't know, but I think that's something to keep in mind as someone who has multiple products like web and mobile. Do you know where your users are coming in first? Are they, do you know enough about them? I would have loved to maybe even seen that asked, like, hey, have you used ClickUp before? Or do you use ClickUp right now? Rather than, because if I did, I probably just want to get all my stuff in with my current account, and I don't need any of that stuff that they would have showed me in the onboarding.
I love it. Totally true. And that would be something, yeah, you're right. This would be something that we'll do for the next one. We'll see how ClickUp shows on the experience for the onboarding shows up on web first, and then we can have a better opinion on how to compare the two. Seems like that's all the time we have left. Lyla, any final thoughts? Any violent reactions, as I like to say, that we already talked about? But any
Ramli trademark.
Any tips that for people tuning in, like just final thoughts, tips that you want to share to them based on this experience so far?
It really depends. I bet there's a lot of things we don't know as to why these decisions were made the way they were, right? So we could have been totally wrong about some of these guesses. But in my advice, if I were going to be like talking to the ClickUp team and be like, let's see a little more personalization, or what would happen if we like change some of just the copy on those screens to be a little bit more clear about what they're getting into, and changing some of those, or adding in some more of those primer notifications so that you don't just get a bunch of people saying don't allow or no. It seems like Siri is helpful. They mentioned it a couple times. Like they called out Siri without a primer in the mobile app, but then also had on the task creation page, when you go to create a task, it's right there. It says tap to learn how to create tasks with Siri. So I'm assuming that is correlated with something good with product usage, but that kind of falls flat. So yeah, I could give them a million little tips, but I don't know enough about what they're trying to accomplish. So just overall like to see more personalization there.
I am totally with you there as well. I think for people tuning in, especially with limited space and time, I forget the stats, but I've seen somewhere that mobile users are more impatient than web users, where they're just like, they're usually on the go. they're like on a couch, they're distracted, they're not on their desk space, and really getting that personalization down pat is like what will help you show value quicker. You mentioned about chat. There's a missed opportunity that if that's something that they find valuable, leading them there quicker. So for people tuning in, I think that's another tip that you can take away from this, is to make sure to think about like how you can ask questions up front for your users to show them more relevant experience than more generic one-size-fit-all approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much. For anybody else, feel free to come on and leave a comment. YouTube, everywhere else. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, what did you think? Let us know.
Love you. Talk to you later. Until the next one.
Till the next one.